All right, good evening, guys. Hello, I'm Joshua Denny, and the speech we're going to be looking at today is how pornography clouds the minds of this young generation. So today we're going to introduce by talking about Michael Leahy. He became addicted to porn at 11 years old and grew up with the habit for over 30 years of his life. The addiction affected his work, and it grew to consume certain areas of his life and to hurt him even through his marriage. It affected him to the point of having having an affair with someone that he met online, and therefore his wife divorced him. And this small addiction at 11 years old ruined his life. Now, roughly 11% of men and roughly 3% of women consider themselves porn addicts with an inability to stop even if they desire to. And likely, most of them won't stop. That's the sad fact of this generation. Pornography is designed to get people addicted and results in so many people, with numbers only rising as time goes on, becoming addicted and reliant on porn and succumbing to the addiction that it brings. They learn to view sex in a way that is purely reliant on physical attraction and not through a biblical lens or how God intended it. Now, I want to help you understand why porn is such a significant issue, even though, as viewed by many, it doesn't seem like a big issue. It doesn't seem like it's that bad, like not as bad as alcohol, not as bad as drugs. But even with that view, it is just as bad, if not worse, than many of those things. I've done so much research on this, and I've even had points in my life where I've seen friends and I've seen people get pulled away from God and get pulled away from their relationships due to porn addictions. So I've done the research, and I know its negative effects. During the speech, I want to persuade you from having any future porn use and realize the plague that pornography is in order to keep your relationship with God in a good place, in a pure place. Keep your view of sex and how God created it pure, not tainted by pornography, and avoid long-term issues that come with porn addiction. The first issue of porn use and addiction we'll talk about today is the immense effect it has on the younger generation. According to the Youth Pornography Addiction Center, 93% of boys and 62% of girls admit that they are exposed to internet pornography before the age of 18. In addition, 67% of children admit to clearing their internet history as a result of trying to hide their pornography addiction from their parents. These statistics go to show how likely it is that someone is exposed to porn in their young age, but also how likely it can damage their relationship with their parents and with the loved ones in their life over that porn addiction. In addition, Covenant Eyes did their own report that reported that 90% of teens and 96% of young adults are either encouraging, accepting, or neutral when they talk about pornography with their friends. This shows the culture shift of this generation, about how even if a long time ago pornography wasn't accepted and it wasn't supported, now in this generation it is becoming supported, it's becoming promoted even. Finally, Psychology Today also talks about how heavy porn use and addiction can even result in sexual crimes, with direct effects being found in men who watch high amounts of porn typically being more aggressive to women, even to a sexual extent, sadly, in some cases. Porn can have direct effects to sex crimes due to the distorted view of sex that it creates. Now that you know the extreme effects of porn and why it should be regarded as a significant and important and frontal issue, we need to discuss a solution to the problem. First of all, don't watch porn at all, not even small amounts of it, as it will almost indefinitely lead to more consumption and more addiction of porn. Learn to view sex through a biblical lens, how God intended it. In the Bible, we discuss with Jesus and we get to learn about how they view sex, right? Marriage first, then you get to have that. There's a biblical way and there's a purpose behind why God created it that way. And third is, don't give yourself opportunity to watch, whether it's giving up your phone during the night, whether it's not finding yourself in situations where you're alone in your room. No matter what you have to do, you have to prevent the issue of pornography at its root. And now that we can recognize the solutions that we can use to keep from watching porn and becoming addicted to porn, we can see the benefits to living a life without it. You get a much healthier view of sex. You will have a healthier view of sex that is God-based, that is biblically based, and won't view men or women in a way that is more sexual due to porn. You can have a healthier relationship with Christ, as you won't have porn distancing yourself from Him. You can view it through a biblical lens, and therefore you can grow closer and talk about it with Christ. And then, as well, you have more time for other things, whether it's sports, whether it's time for friends, whether it's time for spending with your family. That addiction won't take time anymore, and you can have time for much healthier habits in your life. And in conclusion, to finish, I challenge you to live a life without pornography in it, without these sexual images in it, and viewing sex the way God intended for all of us to view it. only after marriage with who God intended us to be with. Remember, due to how tame and harmless porn is viewed, the addiction rate is much higher than other substances that are abused, and therefore the effects can spread like wildfire. Again, I'm Joshua Denny, and thank you so much for allowing me to share this information with you today. All right, cool.